Good morning. The Green Party. How the very name sends a shiver down the spine. How it makes one think, wistfully but not regretfully, of student politics. For the Green Party, what is its central contention? They say that there is a climate emergency, or else, even more strongly, a climate crisis. Now, it is not my aim in this address to deal with the issue of whether the climate is or is not in a state of emergency. Let's take that as read. Let's assume it. If there is indeed such a crisis, then it is the duty of the government to deal with it as a matter of the utmost priority. Let us imagine, in the Second World War, if Winston Churchill had declared a Nazi crisis and then decided that he would spend his whole time campaigning for Scottish independence. You would say that he were not a serious leader. But laugh ye not, because that is precisely what the Scottish Green Party does every day and every minute of every day. They fight for Scottish independence, as if that political action, foolhardy as it is in many respects, would save the world from climate catastrophe. Not to be undone, their cousins south of the border are no less eco-populist. They believe that the climate emergency is so important that that will not be their banner issue. Instead, they will campaign day and night for student union economics, for stealing from the rich, for taxing the rich. It is for another video to discuss whether that makes economic sense. But even if it did, why is that their priority in a time of climate crisis? But when they get bored of speaking of economics, if that's what you call student union economics, they speak about the crisis in Gaza. Now, no doubt that is an extremely important matter, very far from the most important human rights emergency in the world. They've forgotten about Sudan. They've forgotten about Burma. They've forgotten about northern Nigeria. But no matter. It is important. But are they telling us that an independent Hamastan is more important than the climate emergency overcoming the planet? It seems that the Green Party has completely forgotten about green issues. Perhaps it isn't so important then in their eyes. Indeed, by taking a tack to the far left, as the parties in England, Wales and Scotland inevitably do, they avoid making the necessarily large coalition across the entire political spectrum to deal with environmental issues. In the Second World War, Winston Churchill made a coalition government between his own Conservative Party and the Labour Party and the Liberal Party. Fighting Hitler was a genuine emergency which required cross-party unity. But the Green Party don't believe that. They believe they only need appeal to the far left. They believe that with recycling in Brighton alone, we will solve the issues of global warming. The fact is, that if we were to build a large coalition, then the environmental issues could be resolved more easily. a coalition between left and right, between Britain, America, China, and all the polluting countries. Doesn't that make sense? Aren't right-wing people just as much concerned about the environment? In fact, more so, because aren't they interested in conserving their natural and historic environment? And do we not need the biggest polluters, such as China, to come on board for any solution to be reached? I remember, as you do, COVID times. I remember when the entire world economy shut down. There were no flights, very few transporting by car. Essentially, we had a little experiment to see that if we reduced all pollution to an absolute minimum, would global warming decrease? And you know what? In COVID times, there still wasn't a reduction in emissions, which proves that no amount of recycling in Brighton and no amount of reduced car use is the golden bullet to improve the environment. What's needed is, quite simply, technological innovation, and that comes in the context of a free market. So if you are concerned about the environment, if you truly believe there is a climate emergency, you must stop the temptation to vote green, because green is a red flag for Marxism, and a red flag for not dealing with the environment. If you believe that there is a climate emergency, you need a broad coalition, and you need to stop dabbling in student politics. Abandon the Green Party now.